Synthesis challenge. This is where it all comes together. After 10 interviews, you have 100 pages of notes, contradictions everywhere, vague, we need better statements, and solution disguised as needs. Your job, turn that noise into signal. By end of this lesson, we'll have a 5-step method backed by 5 prompts that compresses 2 days of synthesis into 90 minutes. Let's name the chaos. After 10 interviews, you will have 100 plus pages of notes. You have contradictions everywhere. Sarah and Marcus disagree on lead ownership duration. You have different stakeholder agendas. Marketing optimized differently than sales. You have vague statement like we need better forecasting. The statement that don't tell you anything actionable. And you have solution described as needs. We need a custom button. It's not a requirement, it's an assumption. The BA job is to turn noise into signal. There are 5 steps involved. Each one has a dedicated Claude prompt. First one, consolidate every pain point across every interview into a single deduplication list. Step 2, group those pains into 5 to 8 themes. Step 3, rank the theme by a composite score. Step 4, map the conflicts between stakeholders. And step 5, prioritize what goes into version 1 of the project. Run these prompts in order in separate chats, and you will have a synthesis document in 90 minutes that used to take 2 days. Let's look at those prompts one by one. This is the first prompt, consolidation. We tell Claude we are attaching 7 sets of TechCop interview notes. For each pain point across all 7, we want a deduplicated list. Pain points in one sentence, who mention it by name, the verbatim quote if available, and an initial business impact estimate. The output is a markdown table. Notice we are preserving attribution. We need to know that lead routing is broken, came from 3 people, not just Sarah. Attribution is what makes synthesis credible to stakeholder later. Let's see that in action. So I'm in Cloud Code now. So since we have not attached anything right now, so it is asking us to attach the files. So instead of attaching files, let's give some context to it. I'm sharing what the feedback of Rachel interview was. Rachel, who works as sales of analyst, was complaining about login friction. Many times the password used to get expired, or there were restriction that she is not able to log the ticket from the customer site. So I just shared one of the feedback, and now let's see the structured output. So this is the structured output that has come out. Can you now provide me a deduplication list with pain statements in one sentence between Sarah and Rachel? So now, since I have given it context about Sarah and Rachel, there were two different interviews which happened. It is now going to tell me the consolidated pain points. So it has given me the pain statements by Sarah and Rachel. Then cross stakeholder pattern. So the common theme is Salesforce is not being used as system of record. Now let's go back to presentation. The next prompt is about theming. We take the consolidated pain point list and ask Claude to group all pain points into 5 to 8 themes. Each theme gets a clear name like lead routing inequity, contains 3 to 10 related pain points, reflects a single business problem area. For each theme, cross-cutting impact in one sentence, stakeholder affected, and severity flag red, yellow, green. Critical instructions: don't force themes. If only 5 real theme exists, return 5. Forcing structure is how synthesis loses credibility. So let's see this in action. I'll just copy this prompt and put it in Claude. So Claude tells us that since we have data from only 2 stakeholders, so the theme 1 is CPQ and pricing governance breakdown. And cross-cutting impact is without a governed enforced quoting process, TechCorp cannot produce consistent contract terms. And theme 2 is Salesforce access and adoption friction. So it tells me that since we have 7 stakeholders, only 2 have given, 5 interviews are still pending. So once we have given it all the 5 voice dumps, then it will be better for Claude to provide the themes across the entire project. Let's go back to next slide. Now this is about ranking. This time we are going to score each theme 1 to 10 on 4 dimensions: frequency, how many stakeholders mention it, business impact, revenue or cost effect, urgency, how quickly the business need it, and complexity, how hard it is to address. The composite formula: frequency plus impact plus urgency minus complexity. The output is a sortable table. Highest score wins your attention. One sentence of rationale per theme so you can defend the ranking when stakeholder push back. Let's see this in action also. So we have just 2 themes as of now. And this is that table which has come with respect to frequency, impact, urgency, complexity. And we have a composite score. Now then we have the rationale for the stakeholder. On what basis this themes have been given numbers or frequency. So CPQ theme has got higher composite number, so we should start here. But the access theme is a quick theme which we can resolve in parallel also. Let's go back to presentation. Now let's look into conflict mapping. We asked Claude to identify the top 5 conflicts where stakeholders meaningfully disagree. For each conflict, provide topic, position A, whose position B, and whose root cause hypothesis, why this matters for the project, and a recommendation resolution approach. Joint workshop, executive decision, or data analysis, or phased compromise. Verbatim quotes required from each side. This is the part that earns you the title Trusted Advisor because you are surfacing conflicts before they explode in a steering committee. Let's copy this and then paste it. Claude is saying instead of 7, it has just received feedback from 2 stakeholders, and currently it does not have enough data to sample the conflict. Now it has listed the real ownership, record ownership as the first conflict, then future what might emerge, lead quality versus lead volume. Now let's go back to the presentation. Now these are the sample real examples. Marcus, the RevOps director, says sales rep should hold leads for 5 business days max. Otherwise, the pipeline stalls. Sarah, VP Sales, says her senior reps need 14 days for enterprise leads. Anything shorter kills the relationship her team nurtured. Both are right. The root cause, the mid-market versus enterprise reps needs different SLAs. And then the recommendation could be tiered routing rules by account size with a senior rep. Notice how the conflict surface a design decision you would have missed otherwise. Let's copy this. Let's do one thing. Let's put this particular quote over here in the Claude. So it has identified a conflict between Marcus and Sarah. It is positioned like why Sarah is thinking and what is the thinking process of Marcus. Then there's a hypothesis, root cause, and then lead routing design is blocked. And then it also gives me a resolution where it says a framework to bring into resolution workshop. So if you see, Claude has given us a lot of help and is able to identify the conflicts too, and also how these conflicts can be avoided. Let's go back to presentation. The next one is prioritization for V1. TechCorp has 6 months and $250,000. Claude classifies every theme as in scope for V1, which is the first version of the product, defer to V2 or out of scope. For each recommendation, 2-sentence rational, key dependency or blockers, and a t-shirt size estimate. We tell Claude to suggest a V1 scope that delivers maximum business value within the constraint and to use Moscow, which is must, should, could, won't, as a sanity check. This output becomes the spine of your V1 scope, conversation, and the steering committee. Let's look into this. Let me just copy this. So far, based on the themes and from Sarah and Rachel, and applying the Moscow principle. So V1 should have access and adoption friction. CPQ and pricing governance is must or should, it's partial. Then forecast accuracy lead routing, rep productivity should move to V2 because these all are determined based on the interview that are pending with other stakeholder like Priya or Aisha. And then we have got detailed recommendation in terms of the teacher size also. Let's go back to presentation. So your final deliverable is 4 to 6 pages. Page 1 would be executive summary. Second page will be theme findings. 1 page for conflicts and recommended resolution. 1 page for scope recommendation with V1, V2 and out of scope classification, plus appendix as needed. With Claude, 90 minutes, the manual approach approximately 2 days. That's the math, and the document quality is genuinely high because Claude doesn't get tired of or lose track of details across 100 pages of note. Here are certain pro tips for synthesis. Run each prompt in a separate chat for a cleaner output and easier review. Always preserve verbatim quotes. They are your credibility. Mark Claude clearly as recommendation, not facts. Save the consolidated pane list. You will reference it later across multiple work streams. And this actually matters. Share findings with your team before presenting to stakeholder. A peer review catches errors a stakeholder would otherwise catch in the worst possible setting. Now let's look at the action item for this particular lesson. There are 5. You have to save all 5 synthesis prompts to your library. Run the full synthesis on TechCorp 7 interviews. Use the materials in the course. Produce the 4 to 6 page synthesis document. Time yourself. Target to do this under 2 hours total. And share with a peer for feedback before you would present to stakeholder. Once you have done this at least one time, you will never gather requirement the same way again. So this completes the module 2. Next up is module 3, which is documentation mastery.